Welcome to episode 234 of Build Your House Yourself University by BYHYU. I'm your host and fellow student, Michelle Nelson, and together we'll learn the basics of home design and construction and demystify the building process so we can make informed decisions and build quality dream homes with or without a general contractor. The current home building environment is a tough one. Builders and homeowners like us are dealing with historically high prices and historically low availability in building materials and labor. In this week's episode, I'll tell you about a May 2021 survey done by the National Association of HomeBuilders and Wells Fargo Housing Market Index. The survey outlines the percentage of builders in the U.S. who've ordered building materials and who've experienced significant shortages in those materials. Scarcity of building materials is now more widespread than at any time since the National Association of HomeBuilders began tracking materials in the 1990s. The shortages are affecting most of the U.S. and a wide range of materials. Before I tell you specifically what materials shortages builders reported, I want to thank some of my listeners who wrote our latest Apple Podcasts 5-star ratings and reviews. Shouts out go to M. Rod Colorado Entrepreneur, who titled his review, Excellent Details. Joanna, 184, who called the podcast a great listen. And Jules Ark, who called the show an incredible resource. Jules Ark, by the way, is an architect with 25 plus years of experience in non-residential design and construction. Thank you all. Thank you for supporting the show and paying it forward by leaving such kind, helpful feedback for prospective listeners and for me to read. I'm wishing you all the best with your projects. Okay, let me tell you about the materials asked about in the survey. I'll give you the list of products and materials that builders said were in short supply. I'll list the materials in order of those suffering the greatest shortages to those with lesser shortages. In other words, those that I list first are hardest to come by. But to be clear, everything on the list is in short supply according to builders as compared to normal pre-pandemic conditions. Okay, so here's the list of products with shortages according to builders. Appliances, framing lumber, oriented strand board, or OSB, and plywood. 95 to 90% of builders say they experienced shortages of those items. 87% said that there were shortages in windows and doors. 78 to 70% reported shortages in trusses, copper wiring, plumbing fixtures and fittings, vinyl siding, millwork like moldings and trim, drywall, and lightweight steel framing components. 68 to 62% say they've encountered shortages in HVAC equipment, hardware flooring, roofing materials, cabinets, structural insulated panels or SIPs, and insulation. Finally, 57 to 43% of builders reported shortages in steel beams, brick, ceramic tiles, concrete brick and block, cement, and ready-mix concrete. In my personal project, I've felt the effect and been told of shortages or delays in most of the materials that I've listed. I've been waiting on my roof, for example, for more than a month now. My roofing contractor said that the roof should be here at any day now, but he can't tell me exactly when. My HVAC contractor said that the HVAC equipment would be delayed for 2 to 3 weeks more than usual. Custom cabinets from some companies, I've been told, are taking 15 to 20 weeks to be fabricated. And appliance orders are also taking extra months, not extra days or weeks, but extra months to be delivered as compared to pre-pandemic orders. As a result of such severe shortages in appliances, many builders and homeowners are having to forego their first choices of appliance brand and or finishes and selecting appliances that they can get the fastest. And some of the more unique finishes like black stainless steel can't even be ordered at all now in some brands. Several appliance brands have focused their finish and model offerings on just the most popular options so they can manufacture fewer products more efficiently. This is not great news for those of us who want to include unique design selections in our homes. Well, what we'll have to do is just add distinctive style in our homes in other ways. Building right now is pretty frustrating. Progress on my project and others around the country has been incredibly slow. Even when subcontractors and the weather cooperate, delays in material deliveries will likely add months to our total build time. Honestly, if you haven't started construction yet and there's no rush to build your home, you might strongly consider postponing your project until the supply chain starts working closer to normal. Now, this is especially true if you're someone who gets particularly stressed or upset by unpredictable circumstances and things not going as planned. You may not want to wait until things get completely back to how they were pre-pandemic, but maybe consider waiting until the shortages are not quite as severe or not as widespread as they are now. That might be in a few weeks, or it might be in many months. Although nobody can accurately predict what might happen in a year or two, I have to warn you that if you do wait to build, there's a chance that the incredibly low interest rates we have at the moment might increase. And since materials and labor prices have increased for contractors, they're passing that increased cost onto homeowners. That increased home price might make the actual price of your newly built house higher than its appraisal price. And typically, a bank will not lend you more than the appraisal price for the house. So keep all of this in mind before signing a contract with a contractor. Whether to build now or later is a difficult decision. Weigh the pros and cons and think about what would give you the most peace of mind. If you decide you do want to start your build soon, that's fine. Just be prepared to take 2 steps forward and then wait a few weeks before you can take 2 more steps. While you wait, you can do what you can. Declutter and start packing whatever makes sense. Episodes 229 and 230 will help you with the decluttering plan. Work on your electrical and lighting plan. Listen to episode 125 if you need help with that. Think through your cabinet layout and finalize your furniture layout. Consider your landscaping plan and meet with landscape artists and interior decorators, maybe even pool designers while you wait. Make your selections for furniture, lighting, electronics, window coverings, flooring, tile, whatever you'll eventually have to choose. Start narrowing down your selection so you can order things sooner rather than later. You might want to invest in an on-site or off-site storage unit so you can order things early and store them there as they come in. That way, your products and materials will be waiting on you instead of you waiting on them. Storage units might cost you $100 to $200 per month, depending on where you're located and how large the storage unit is. It's not really advisable to store materials and appliances inside your house while the bulk of your construction is incomplete. I thought I could save some money by ordering materials and storing them in my garage if we boarded up the garage with plywood. But I've talked to a couple of contractors, and even if we did put that stuff in the garage or some other out-of-the-way place and boarded up the area, that plywood can easily be cut with a saw, and stored items are at great risk of being stolen. I think that risk of theft is even greater now since building materials and appliances are so hard to come by. If you want to order materials early, it's probably best to invest in a storage unit. The bit of good news in all of this is that it's a seller's market. There just isn't enough inventory on the market for buyers who want to take advantage of the low mortgage rates and move into an existing home. If you're in a position to sell your current home right now, you'll likely sell it fast and get a good price. But because the market is so hot, be careful not to put your house on the market unless you are really prepared to move fairly quickly. Moving either to your newly built house or into an apartment, or moving in with friends or family members until you have finished your house. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Not the best news, but I always want to give you the facts so you can make informed decisions. And if you're in the middle of your build like I am, we're going to make it. We just have to be patient and realize how blessed we are to even be able to build a house, even if it takes us many months longer than we had hoped. Thank you for joining me this week. I hope you'll come back next time for another episode of Build Your House Yourself University. BYHYU. Please remember that the purpose of this podcast is simply to educate and inform. It's not a substitute for professional advice. The information that you hear is based only on the opinions, research, and experiences of my guests and myself. That information might be incomplete, it's subject to change, and it may not apply to your project. In addition, building codes and requirements vary from region to region, so always consult a professional about specific recommendations for your home.